Welcome to the weekly current affairs class. Today's topic will be dealt from the ethics and security. The two main topics that we will be dealing are, first of all, is the free buy culture. You must have seen the Supreme Court judgment with respect to the free buys that have been given. We will see it from the ethics perspective, what are the ethical issues in it and what is the way forward or what are the measures to deal with that issue. Next, we will be dealing with the securities topic, that is of Naga peace issue. Okay. So, first of all, starting with our first topic, that is the freebie culture. See, Supreme Court in its recent judgment has stated that the free buys distributed in elections should be controlled, obviously. Why? Because they influence the free and fair election process. They influence the voters through the irrational distribution of the freebies. That is why this direction in respect of freebies has been announced by the Supreme Court. What is happening is that political parties, they make huge promises during elections that may be irrational, or with respect to irrational, what we mean is that they may not be even feasible to fulfill. Okay, these type of promises that are made and are able to attract voters in mass for vote mobilization. You try to mobilize the votes for on the basis of some issue, and this is one such mechanism where through the announcement of free buys, it is tried during the elections that the voters can be mobilized in mass to vote some for particular ABC political party. They are announced in the form of free electricity can be there, water has subsidies, loan waivers, or distributing gadgets, some kind of mechanism to lure the people towards to gain the benefits. Okay, this is what is known as freebie culture. We will be dealing with the ethical issues that are involved with this freebie culture. See, first of all that we have is the limited resources versus the free distribution. We know that India is a developing country. We are the second largest populated nation on the earth. So, we have a lot of opportunities as well, but the resources that we have to fulfill those opportunities are very much limited. We have finite resources. We have so much population to feed, food security issue is there, poverty issue is there, then we have financial problems of our own. Okay, so many issues are there, and to fulfill already those issues we have very much limited resources. Okay, and on the other hand, what the governments are doing, that in ignorance of these issue or in ignorance of the infinite resources that we have available, they are going for the free distribution of the resources, whether it is judicious to distribute the resources in free, or whether we should go for the pricing of these things, whether we should not ask ourselves whether that these resources are limited, that they should be equally distributed in society, especially to those who have not access to them. So, this is our first issue, that is limited resources versus the free distribution of the things. That is our first issue. Second issue is the unjudicious use of tax resources versus the rights of the people. See, the freebies that are announced, for example, the subsidies that are given, or loan waiver that is given, or free electricity bills are there, even gadgets that are distributed, this is not coming from some private pocket. This is through only the use of the taxes of the people that are submitted to the government at the end of the financial year. So, how these resources should be used, tax resources, people have the right over them to ask the government that whatever we are contributing to the functioning of government, we have the right to state that basically, or to claim that these resources are used in a judicious manner. They should be properly used so that it benefits the society at whole. So, what is the issue here is how the resources, tax resources of the people are being spent versus the right of the people to claim or to hold the government accountable for this use of the tax resources. Third one is we have macroeconomic stability versus the distorted expenditure. See, many reports and surveys over the period of time have highlighted that states like Punjab is there, or states like Andhra Pradesh is there, where those states who have high debt to state GDP ratio, They states are announcing the maximum freebies with respect to free water bills, free electricities, or the loan waivers that are there. Okay, first issue here is the debt problem or the fiscal situation of the state itself. Okay, it concerns our macroeconomic stability also, the stability of the country with respect to the GDP resources, and the distorted use of this expenditure, when this expenditure can be used to cut out the already interest payments or the liabilities of the government that they have, okay, or towards the health sector or towards the education sector, where this money can be well spent, where some infrastructure assets or durable assets can be created. It is the issue that is there. Next is the fiscal situation of the states. I have already given you a highlight of how the states with a high debt burden are announcing the freebies, versus we have also to see that the promises that have been made in the electoral manifestos or in the press conferences, whether it is feasible to fulfill these promises, whether it is feasible with respect to the finances of the government that these promises can be fulfilled, or such huge claims are just made to lure the voters. That is the issue. Then free and fair elections versus the influence on voters. See, it is not elections are held on the platform of equality, where each and every party from opposition or from the ruling government, or even when the individual is not belonging to any party, he or she is an independent member, equal opportunity is given to every citizen of the country to fight in the elections. Okay, and it is done through the process of free and fair elections. So what is done with the use of freebies is that they try to influence the voters, so that vote for us, we will be giving you certain benefits, we will be providing you with certain gadgets, we will be providing you with certain loan waivers, we will be providing you with certain subsidies on fertilizers. So it is an attempt to lure the voters to see basically which political party is able to lure the most of the voters. So it influences or it hampers the free and fair election process. So these are the ethical issues that are involved. You may get this type of question in the case study form, or it may be simply asked you with respect to the recent judgment that is there. I will again repeat in nutshell. The ethical issue, first one is the limited resources versus the free distribution. Okay, we have finite resources, and how these resources are distributed in a society is a matter of great concern. Next one is obviously people contribute to the functioning of the government through direct and indirect taxes. So they have the right to hold the government accountable whether how the resources of the people are used by the government. Third one is the macroeconomic stability versus the distorted expenditure. To fulfill this, the promise of the free by states are basically going for the market loans or some other type of mechanism like taking grants from the center. When they are not used to create the infrastructure or durable assets, obviously it impacts our macroeconomic stability. That is the issue. Then fiscal situation of the states versus the freebie promises. So there are some states where they have high debt burden to the GDP ratio, and the promises that they have made obviously require huge crores of expenditure. Whether it is feasible to fulfill such promises when the state is going through such fiscal mess, that is the issue. And then last one is the aspect of free and fair elections, whether when we are luring the voters through the process of freebie, whether we are really providing a platform of equality to every citizen of this country to fight the elections that are stated that will be held in a free and fair manner. So these are the ethical issues that are involved. So what can be done to stop this? First of all, you have Finance Commission here. What Finance Commission can do is it can go for some new methodology to assess the fiscal status of the states. Okay, where for example new poverty indicators, new needs and aspirations of the people, some extra grants can be made to the state, so that basically they do not have to go for the market loans or any such type of things. Okay, new mechanism, performance based indicators with respect to states can be devised or included in this methodology, so that if they are going for the irrational use of the expenditure in the form of freebies, their performance can be checked on that particular parameter. That can be done. Next one is the election commission. Okay, it should be strengthened so that it can hold the government as well as the political parties who are going for the irrational announcement of the freebies. That aspect can be given to that power or function can be devolved to the election commission. Next one, we have FRBM Act that is in place that checks the fiscal deficit, revenue deficit. Okay, there are specific targets that are highlighted within the act that have to be achieved by the states. We can place new limits on the expenditure of the states so that only those promises can be made which can be fulfilled within the existing budget of the governments. That can be done. Next one is the differentiating between the subsidies and freebies. States should be encouraged that if you want to go for the announce for the welfare of citizens any scheme, rather than going for the freebies, you can go for the subsidy. At least there will be some return on that. As we know, a subsidies is a discounted form. Okay, so some, for example, a commodity costs rupees 100 and government has announced that it will announce a subsidy of rupees 50 and it will be provided only in rupees 50. 50 is the discount rate. Okay, so at least half the amount is coming back to the government instead of free buys where nothing is coming back to the government. Okay, then improving formulation of schemes to include eligible beneficiaries. Okay, the leakage, the exclusion of the bogus beneficiaries. Okay, that method can be made more proof. Okay, so that what happens is that for example, there are schemes with respect to disability, food ration are there, or any another schemes that are announced by the government to for social welfare. Eligible beneficiaries are there so that states do not have to go out of the way to announce some extra measures for the benefit of people, which puts a extra expenditure burden on the state governments. So what can be done? We can new methodology by the Finance Commission, strengthening the Election Commission, revising the limits in the FRBM Act, then differentiating between subsidies and freebies and making more leak proof the inclusion, basically the government schemes with respect to social welfare or social justice, so that eligible beneficiaries can be included. So this is with respect to what is the freebie culture, what was the ethical issues that were involved, and what type of measures can be taken by the government to reduce the irrational use of expenditure by the governments. Moving on to our next topic, that is basically you must have seen in the newspaper pitch black exercise that was conducted, that is going to be conducted by the Australia. Indian Air Force will be participating in this exercise. It is important for your prelims exams. It is a biennial exercise and it will be, India will be joined by 16 another nations such as US, UAE, Philippines and many more other nations. This type of exercise can be asked in your prelims exams, whether where is pitch black conducted, or whether it is a biennial or annual exercise, or basically how is it only with respect to India or Australia, or other nations are participating in it. So this is with respect to pitch black exercise that is going to be held in Australia, and Indian Air Force will be participating in this exercise. And next thing is, it is a biennial exercise and 16 nations, other 16 nations will also be the part of this exercise. Moving forward, then you have Nagaland peace process that was again in news. See, this issue lingers on basically since independence. Why? Because Naga outfits such as NSCN is there. Now there is a division within this outfit also, as they want to create a sovereign and independent identity. Their demand is for greater Nagaligam, okay, which includes the part of Assam, Andhra, Arunachal Pradesh is there, or Manipur is there. In this regard, to resolve this issue, it was basically peace framework was signed by central government in 2005, okay, where some negotiations were held, but that peace process has stagnated, as many another one is outfit is NSCN, that is IM, and Naga national parties, another parties that were also there, they were not on the same page regarding to what political solutions can be gained, or what political solutions can be agreed upon with respect to the future of Nagaland. So we will be discussing what are the issues, that why this process has been basically stagnated, or why since after 70 years of independence, why this issue is still lingering on. First of all, the issue that we have is with respect to Greater Nagaland. See, Greater Nagaland, I have already told you that it includes all the Naga inhabited areas that are not included only in Nagaland but beyond the Nagaland, which includes the parts of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and Manipur. So obviously, why some another states, it is a very hard process to go for the compromise and negotiation with other states, because these states will not be, what we say, in a situation to compromise with their territorial integrity. Okay, so that is the issue, how to reach this compromise over this. They are saying basically this particular outfit is stating that we want all the areas, and whereas the other states, they have particularly stated that we will not even cede an inch of our territory, we will not compromise on our territorial integrity. Next, the peaceful settlement that is stated by such organization, they state that it should be outside the purview of Indian Constitution. Obviously, this demand can also not be met. It will mean that Nagaland is a sovereign and independent identity with whom the government is dealing. So that can also not be fulfilled. This is the another issue. Then another demand has been the demand for separate state flag and the constitution. Obviously, we have a single constitution. Even government has abolished the separate constitution that was there with respect to the Jammu and Kashmir, and creating another constitution for Greater Nagaland. It is not feasible. It is not according to our spirit of the constitution. This demand can also not be fulfilled. This is another contentious issue. And next one is, I have already stated you with respect to problem in accepting the demand of Greater Nagaland. See, the states of Assam, Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh, they have stated that they would not propose anything basically which compromises with their territorial integrity. These are the issues basically due to which contentious issues, compromise or negotiation could not be held between the government and these outfits. I will again repeat in nutshell. First issue is the demand for the Greater Nagaland. Okay, that has not been accepted by the government. And second one is with respect to Greater Nagaland only, is that the other parts from where there has been a talk of ceding of territory, the states have specifically said that we will not compromise on our territorial integrity. Next one is with respect to the peaceful settlement. Outfits have stated that it should be outside the purview of Indian Constitution. Obviously, it will make these outfits or a sovereign and independent identity. This government has specifically said that this cannot be done, and a demand for separate state flag and a constitution can also not be fulfilled, because it will also be ceding to the demand of separatism. Okay, these are the contentious issues over which the peace process has stagnated, or the issue has been lingering on since 70 years. So what should be the way forward? What should government do in these type of answers? You should always take the context of the national security. You should state that this issue must be seen in the context of security and integrity of the country. No thing as such thing should be done which basically puts in danger the territorial integrity of the country, and all the settlements should be done within the purview of the constitutions. So these were the three issues that were prominent in the last week: freebie culture, pitch black exercise, and with respect to the Naga peace issue that was there. Now we will be coming forward to the question part, the question that you have to write. It is explain the Naga crisis in brief. What initiatives have been taken by the government to resolve the dispute? Okay, you have to answer in 250 words. You know where to submit it at rajisacademy.com. Okay, in government initiatives you can mention all that Shimla Accord and process that is there. Okay, so this will be all from my side. Thank you very much. All the best for your future endeavors.